Yes, friends, last time I discussed with you 5 tests to differentiate between good, bad, and best investment. A lot of friends ask me a question, what is the minimum investment you have to do to start real estate portfolio? So I'm going to discuss that. This is really going to be my main topic, that how much investment you need, what kind of property you should buy, and what should you do with that property. How do you really start a real estate portfolio? That's going to be our topic today. But before that, I'm going to request you to like, subscribe, discuss, share these vlogs, because we are building really a real estate education course. Very soon you will find that a course established, and then you have to pay to watch these videos. But right now we are just doing this as a favor to share knowledge. So I think it's incumbent upon us that we discuss it, we share it. I appreciate your comments personally, but the best thing would be to put your comments in the YouTube and share with your other friends, so that you consider this as a charity and share this views so other people learn from it and share their wisdom as well. All right, so what is minimum investment somebody need to start a real estate portfolio? I think this answer lies in following further questions: that what is your short-term and long-term vision, and how much really free cash flow you have, and what are your other kind of pillars of your portfolio, and what kind of time you have, whether you want this as a passive or active income. But if you do not really have this detailed analysis done, then let me just give you some overall generic answer. So basically, let's say you do not have any real estate portfolio and you have a very limited resources, and let's say you can only afford $5,000. By the way, let me just actually also stop here and also let you know that there are lots of real estate courses where people really try to teach you, oh, you can do it with nothing. And a lot of these guys are really young kids who don't really even know themselves, but what they have done is they basically put together a few things just getting from ChatGPT or from the internet, and then try to really sell you the courses. I mean, that would be, they have strategies where they talk about, well, you don't have to have any investment, you can just start a real estate portfolio. And the way they do it is they're saying, oh, you can get a tax lien, or you can ask somebody else money and borrow that money and buy the papers and then sell the papers without really owning a real estate. I mean, there are a few things like that you could do it, but honestly, I'm not into it and I don't believe in that. Those are very risky paths, and that's usually, maybe that's a good path for a youngster who want to invest more time and want to find out tax liens or want to take somebody else's money and move that around. And again, I find this very cumbersome, very tedious, and very risky. So I don't want to give you that advice. The advice I'm giving you is that depending on how much money you have as a free cash flow. So let's say you have $5,000. If you have $5,000 and you do not own any other real estate, then yes, as a first-time home buyer, first of all, I think, no, you don't have to live in that house, but you are a first-time home buyer. So then basically you can even put 5% and get a house which you can live a portion of it and rent portion of it. I believe if you have very limited money, that's how you should start. So let's say you have a $5,000 and you can get 95%, yes, you heard me right, 95% loan, and you have certain jobs or certain credit that you get 95%. Yes, first-time home buyers can get up to 95% a loan. So that means $95,000 you can get from the bank or with any support. There are some other support from Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. So you can get $95,000 loan, but be very careful with the interest rate. Talk to a few companies to figure it out, the best rate for you. So now you got $95,000 loan approved and you have $5,000 cash, and you need to have a little bit of closing costs. And again, you can negotiate and find the right deal where your closing costs are either minimal or paid from the company giving you loan. Basically, you can pay from your pocket, and that should be no more than a couple of $1,000s. So now you got $102,000 in your access, and now you can buy a property up to $100,000. Now, if you buy a property for $100,000, you should also think that that property doesn't need any maintenance, and you can either rent or fixer-upper. If you are doing fixer-upper, then it means you need to have another money to fix it. Let's say you need another $20,000 to fix it. That became $120,000, and hopefully you can sell the property for $150,000, make $30,000. So that's kind of one way. But a lot of our friends are affluent. They have $5, $10, $50, $500,000. So you can figure out, if you are an investor and you do already have your home, you need at least 30% cash in your hand, and you'll get about 70% from loan. So it means if you have $30,000, you can get $70,000 from the bank. If you have $1 million property, like I gave you example before, then you need about $300,000 and you get $700,000 from the bank. So that means if you have a property and you want to get a property not in your town, in another town, and you can call that as a vacation home or second home or even a first home, then you may be able to get 80% loan. But I would just suggest that you think of as a 70% loan. It's not that how much money you need. It depends how much money you have, because the amount of money you have, that will determine that what kind of property you can buy. Let's say you have $100,000 only available to deploy for your real estate portfolio, then you don't buy $1 million property. If you can get 80% loan and you have $100,000 in your hand, then you got to figure out that what a property you can buy. You can buy a $400,000 value property. There's a lot of properties you can buy for $400,000 or $300,000. So start with small, depending on how much money you have in your hand. So that's the answer of how much do you need. Now, let's suppose if you are buying certain equity with some other developers, now depending on that developer, that how much minimum participation he have. Because a lot of developers do not take less than certain minimum amount, because there's a lot of paperwork involved, and that lot of paperwork require you to basically at least do, some people have $100,000 limit, some people have $500,000 limit, and some people have $1 million limit. It all depends on who you go with and who you feel comfortable. Now, there are some big names who take money and they do invest in real estate portfolio. I'm not going to give those names here. That you have to find out yourself. People do ask me, and they only give you 2, 3, 4 or 5% return. Now, people ask me, hey, bank only gave me less than a 1% interest rate nowadays, but there are some CDs available. Sometimes there are specials from different banks at different mortgage companies. They give you a CD where you basically locked on for 5 years and they give you 5%. That's very decent. That is less risky. But again, I don't know how comfortable you feel with the CD, because that's kind of a interest-based situation where people may or may not like it. Especially in our community, people do not want to deal with this. So for that, I would say if you are buying a property, honestly, there are other benefits other than just the return on investment. And that is really, you're building a portfolio, you're gaining experience, you are really testing the ground yourself. And I have never seen a person or a company who had a portfolio and then they basically didn't really start with one and didn't go with multiple. People start with one, they go multiple, and most people continue increasing their portfolio, and then they become partner with a bigger company, or then they sell and they just either retire, go somewhere, or they just sell portion of it and keep portion of it totally free of any debt, and now they have nothing but cash flow coming and they can very easily, comfortably retire. So really, I think you need to start from somewhere. Start somewhere small, get to know, get your feet wet, and then you will grow from there. Now, if for example you have already done some other investments and you want to start with real estate as well, then of course you could start somewhere medium level. Instead of starting from 5, 10, 100,000, you can start with $250,000, you can start with $500,000. I believe that the real estate portfolio investments are far safer than in many other investments, because you can touch and feel and know that what property you own, whether you own as a portion or with an equity or an equity with somebody else. But you have actual solid paperwork, you have actual investment, you have actually title, you have entitlement to that property. That is not going to go anywhere. I mean, worst come to worst, what can happen? Worst thing is that you basically don't like renting. You can sell and still make money. And let's suppose if this was an absolute bad idea, but you can still sell and get the money. It's not like stocks where you could lose everything. You would not lose everything. Matter of fact, if you really watch our videos and if you do your study, it's unlikely you will lose any money whatsoever. So then what are different tests that who do you really invest with? I would say you could just start from yourself. How do you look for a property? You can definitely look for a property through either a real estate agent or yourself. You could do residential or you can do a commercial. But I would say if you're starting fresh, just start with small and start with residential, and then you can go big. And if you are comfortable going with a developer, a bigger company, and have a portion investment there and find out what is their minimum investment to go with it. If you feel feel comfortable, you can go start portfolio with them as well. It really is depends on you, your comfort level. You're comfortable both from a variable cash as well as you want to go solo and you want to have a manager who manage it. It really depends on your comfort level, that what do you feel comfortable and what is your short-term and long-term vision. So I think I just gave you that quick answer, that where do you start from. Hopefully you got your answer. If not, then share your questions on YouTube and I will like to address, and I will inshallah address more and more as we go along. Till then, stay happy, healthy, and I would say best of luck to your investments. Start from somewhere. It will be better. Thank you. Have a good day.